Hello guys, it's your boy KAPE. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. And today I'm going to be talking about two very special players, Ethan Nwaneri and Myles Lewis-Skelly, and why I believe that they're going to break through to the first team this season. Now, if you're new and you're returning and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below. I'm almost at 400 subs. I'm on the road to 1K. So help me get there. I'll give you a little moment. Thank you. And whilst you're there, smash the like button down below and comment down below your thoughts of anything I say in this video. But without further ado, let's get into this video. Ethan and Myles are both central midfielders, with Myles being more of a defensive box-to-box midfielder and Ethan being more of a 10. That I feel like are two of Arsenal's brightest prospects to come out Ireland in the last 10 years, in my opinion. They're both 17, with Myles' birthday being in September, so he'll turn 18 soon, and Nwaneri, Ethan's birthday being in March next year, so he'll turn 18 then. But they're in that age where they're 18, to me, is that perfect age where they break through to the first team. They have all the talent, and I feel like our team has the needs. So I'm going to start with Myles. Myles is a defensive midfielder in the mold, in my opinion, of Moussa Dembele from Tottenham. Even though I'm talking about the ops on this channel, it's perfect comparison. Strong, great ball carrying, both in terms of dribbling ability, skills, and just covering ground. Strong in both their driving on the ball, huge running power, strong in his tackles, and just grace. The grace that he plays with for a guy who is a DM, who can tackle and who is strong, is so lovely to see. He loves the vertical pass. He loves the combination play, and he's a versatile player. I think Myles is actually an 8, a box-to-box player, but he's been playing as the pivot, the single pivot, the 6 for the academy team, the under 18s and the under 21s. All of last season, whilst he was 16, he was playing a lot of games for the under 21s, quality performances. And I remember the season before, he was part of that key run of the under 18s run to the FA Youth Cup final, which they lost obviously to West Ham at the Emirates. But with all that said, we saw recently in the pre-season friendly that Arsenal played against Leyton Orient, Myles had started that game, obviously, albeit with a few players coming back slowly to pre-season in terms of the first team because of Euros and Copa America. He played left fullback, and I believe he played left inverted fullback, and he was heavily involved in that first goal that had Gabriel Jesus' first goal, with a quite lovely line breaking, patient pass, something that I see Myles do quite a lot. He baits guys in, waits till the guy his teammate gets in a great position, uses his angle bias to be facing in a different direction whilst playing that reverse pass to break the line. He loves breaking lines. He's a quality player. He dribbles at top speed. I think he could thrive at both inverted fullback, playing a 6, playing an 8. Ideally, I think long-term his future probably lies at playing the 8, but I think he'll be a great 6. And wherever Mikel wants to use him, especially in this preseason tour coming up in the US, I feel like we'll a lot of fans that don't know Myles or are not so familiar or haven't watched too much footage of him will have a lot to see and see how great this player is. I think this will be season to break into the first team. We don't know what's going to happen in the left back situation, given obviously Zinchenko and Tierney's futures. Obviously Calafiori coming in, is he coming in to be a pure left back or a left centre back? Kivio as well. And on top of that, we haven't signed any centre midfielders, and albeit we're linked to a couple players, I feel like Myles could be an adequate player to be not first choice, second choice, but fourth choice, but that secret player that if he has an opportunity to play, I think he's going to grasp that position. He's a quality player, as you can see in his clips, and I feel like this will be the season for him to break through, stamp his name and start playing first team, whilst next season is when I think he will finally firm his place. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does against potentially Bournemouth when he plays. Would he start left back? Would he start in the centre mid? And against the other games against Liverpool and Man United in this tour as well. I just hope that he has an ability to gel with his teammates, the first team players. They have been training all last season with the first team, so now that they kind of be playing games, just have that chemistry and just show to Mikel that I am ready. And it might end up changing our transfer business. Not that we won't sign players, but we might look at buying more of a senior player, knowing that we have a younger player coming through that's ready. Do you know what I mean? But that's with Myles. So moving on to Ethan Nwaneri. Ethan Nwaneri, 17 years old. To me, he's the truth. Made his Premier League debut at 15, I think becoming the youngest player in Premier League history to make a debut at that age. 15. You're still in year 11, probably going to school the next day, and he's coming on against Brentford and Arsenal winning 3-0. That was in the 22-23 season. He then made his second appearance albeit in a 6-0 wiping against West Ham last season. And I feel like in that game, he was able to have a bit more minutes and show a bit more how you can fit in this first team. Arsenal players obviously were letting him have the ball, and West Ham were probably defeated, but he was progressive in his passing. He was positive. He wanted the ball always. He looks like someone that makes things happen. I like him to David Silva, Santi Cazorla in terms of that short, because he stands at 5'9", not necessarily short, but shorter, lower sense of gravity, great technician, receiving the ball in the most difficult areas, going into those alleys of uncertainty, or those alleys where he's unmarked and finding a way to maneuver himself through. His first touch is gracious. He has great understanding of how to play football. And albeit him, similar to Myles, growing up in North London and getting that Halian education, I think it's been so key to how they play. We also saw Myles in this under-17s World Cup just at the end of the season for England, even though they lost to Italy in the quarterfinals, I believe it was. Myles had about 4 or 5 goals, lovely goals. He was the main hub in terms of creativity. He oozes creation. He gets the ball. He knows how to operate in first phase, second phase. So much composed. And albeit KAPE has pauser, Myles has pauser, but Ethan has pauser. And I think at their age, it's so interesting for these players to have these characteristics. And I feel like they're also the first team players, with albeit these guys have been training for them all of last season. I feel like they respect and know. Like, we all know when you know a gem, and I think these guys are gem. It's just down for them to prove themselves and show they can hang physically, in my opinion. I feel like with young players, that's majority of the case. When they come into the men's game, there's a lot of guys built like men, strong, powerful, big frame, and sometimes they don't allow their quality to shine through. But I think Ethan's one of those players that no matter where he plays, how he plays, he'll shine through. He's a number 10, but he has operated for the 21s as a right winger, as a 10, right winger when Kozudibi wasn't playing, and a false 9 as well, which is interesting. And albeit him playing a lot of ages up, he still looked like the best player, scoring goals for fun, whether he starts on the bench or he starts from the starting lineup. I think he's quality. In the first team, I think Mikel will probably use him as a right winger. I don't see him putting a 17-year-old, my apologies, into that 10 position to do the Odegaard role, because it's very demanding physically in terms of the press, being the leader of the press, winning your duels. And a lot of players that play in the midfield are more strong, competitive players. So I think if Reece Nelson does get sold, I think Ethan will be our second right winger. I think Mikel will probably want to use him out there in a position that he's comfortable in, where there's less focus, because you'll either only get double teamed, but people won't double team a 17-year-old player coming in straight away, even with all that hype. And I feel like he'll be able to bed himself into the team that by the time a couple of years goes by, he can now to own that 10 position that I feel like will be his. I love Ethan Nwaneri when I watch him play, and I'm excited that Arsenal have these 2 great young prospects coming through our academy. Obviously, albeit being a question of our academy in terms of the talent we're producing, the opportunities we're giving, I think you only give opportunity to the players that deserve it, the players that are going to change the first team, not just because you want to see who's the next best player. Like, they're the next best player, but these guys are the truth. And I think they can own and boss Arsenal's midfield for the next 10 years, should they stay. But with both of them growing up in North London, Ethan growing up in Enfield, and Myles growing up in Islington, they're Arsenal through and through. North London forever. And I mean it. So I'm intrigued to see how they play in this pre-season games. I'll be watching closely. I'll be doing some previews and more player focuses, I hope. I'll probably feel like Myles might start, but obviously I'll preview that game and Ethan will come off the bench. But I feel like the minute they get their first team opportunities during the season, whether that's Carabao Cup, whether that's in the FA Cup, early stages of Champions League, or even rotation in the Prem, depending on injuries and such forth, I feel like they're going to own it. And I can't wait to know that. In terms of certain positions in our team, whether that's inverted fullback or at the 6-8 for Myles, or the 10 or right wing for Ethan, I think it's all there. And with these players, hopefully they take this opportunity in the US, they ball out, they show the world and its majority and mostly Arsenal fans that they're ready, and mostly Mikel. And could we see them starting one day in the Prem or in Champions League this season? I would love to see it, but let's see. Been your boy KP. Please hit that subscribe button. If you reached the end of the video, I'm always up for 1 subscribe, so hit the subscribe button, get me there, smash the like button, comment down below any of your thoughts, your feelings on Ethan, Myles, anything I've said, or if you want to see me do any more profiles on these young players that are coming through, I have a couple of players I would want to do it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Speak soon, have a lovely day, peace, I'm out.